Welcome to Downtown Bridal's Vendor Collective, where we bring you event professionals of the Delmarva Eastern Shore. They are experts in their field, and they're a key part of how we're elevating our upcoming events at Downtown Bridal. When we look for partners to collaborate with, we look for two things: excellence in their craft and real value for our clients.
Good morning, and today we are talking with Elizabeth Dawson of Personal Pilates here in Salisbury, Maryland, and it's going to be a great day. Hi.
Good morning.
Hi. So, Elizabeth, what made you get into Pilates?
I've been in the exercise world for a long time. I used to be a personal trainer. I've done some yoga before. And then when Pilates came to Salisbury, they needed instructors. And somebody told me about it. And I was like, sure, I'll try it out. I wasn't really, didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I did the training, which was 500 hours. And it took me 8 months to do that. It was computer work. It was in studio work. It was, on your own work, watching things, watching people, critiquing. It was a lot, and did that and started teaching at a studio in Salisbury. And then that's where I started teaching classes and getting involved with Pilates. And really, I had done some Pilates back in my late 20s, early 30s, but it was mat. And I didn't dislike it, but I was doing yoga at the time, and I was like, well, I think I like yoga better. Okay. And then when I was trained on the reformer, that was the game changer. The reformer was the game changer for me, and I was like, ooh. And then all of a sudden, I was hooked.
So, being a novice myself, can you explain a little the difference between yoga and Pilates?
There are some crossovers for sure. Like with Joseph Pilates, you will see a lot of mixed things in there, like with a lot of dancing, with a lot of, I don't want to say, watching animals move and how they move and how we can move like that as well. Like look at how our dogs, when they get up, do like the down dog stretch all the time. So there's a lot of that incorporated with yoga in Pilates. It's just a difference in how you focus on the core work, that I found that I thought I was pretty good. I've weight trained my whole life, and I thought I'm pretty good with my core. And then I got into doing Pilates classes, and I was like, oh, I don't have it at all.
So it's a game changer.
That was the game changer. And I've done yoga for a long time, and it was that, and I love yoga. It's like comparing apples and oranges. They're both fruit, but they're two different things. And so I think they're both important. So I would never want to say somebody to stop Pilates and do yoga, or stop yoga and do Pilates, or stop weightlifting and do Pilates. They all are different, and they're all important because the focus is just a little different in how you do things.
So in relation to working with our type of clientele, they're preparing for wearing something in a formal setting. What would they be able to target? So if they're like wearing a mermaid dress and they really want to hit their curves, are you able to target a routine for them to achieve that? Or is this just more of an overall, hey, we're going to get you toned, which of course is optimal. But what do you offer with that?
I can go with either way. I mean, I do. With Pilates, you are focusing on balance, and balance meaning not just standing balance, that is a huge part of it, but also balance within the muscle groups. So it's like you don't want to overdevelop one area and create a problem somewhere else. So yes, if they want to be, let's say, more glute focused, we can definitely target that a little bit more, but I'm not going to neglect the other areas as well, because then I think that wouldn't serve them down the road long ways, because glutes are part of your core in Pilates, so it's going to be a focus no matter what.
I actually had a client one time that she started her routine after she started her first alterations. At her first alterations, we were taking in the hips probably 3 to 4 inches.
Interesting.
She came back for her second fitting, couldn't fit into it. I had to let it back out to the original one because she had developed so much muscle in a month. I don't know exactly what she was doing, but I was like, oh, girlfriend, I'm proud of you, but you should have started beforehand. So note to self, don't start after your alterations.
Good Good to know.
So speaking of timeline with that, what would be your, I mean, obviously you want everybody to be healthy and start today. But if they were really focusing on an event, what kind of timeline would you suggest?
I would definitely give yourself at least 3 months consistently, two times a week consistently, and doing other things too. If you're like walking or running or cycling, getting some cardio in, getting, other things in there as well. It depends what their goals are. Are they just trying to be tone, or are they trying to, lose weight, but what is the goal? And then they can, I find that when I work with people at the studios, when I first started, people would come in once a week, and consistently for 1 month, they would notice something by the end of the month. Those people that did twice a week, faster. And it's the consistency that's key. You really want to, not come one day or 1 week and then you skip a week and then you're in again. And the inconsistency is where it creates the biggest problem. Once you get consistent, and I always tell people to start off small. If you have time, if you have 6 months, start off once a week. Get into the groove, get it into your habits, get it into your daily routine or your weekly routine, adapt to the change. And then that's when people are like, what I see is people come in once a week and they're like, I really want to come twice a week. I'm really enjoying this. And it's like, okay, now you're ready. As opposed to come in twice a week, really change things around, even though it's not a lot. It could be just enough to throw people off. And then all of a sudden they're like, I don't have time. And then that's when it starts to go.
So for my clients, that would equate to 9 months before your event start, and you can break in instead of just doing hardcore 3 months before your alteration starting. So 6 months before. So 9 or 6 months minimally is what my clients should really focus on. Do you offer any kind of packages, or are they a certain amount of week sessions? How do you handle your groups?
So I keep it simple as possible for everybody. I keep with packages as opposed to memberships right now. It's not that I might not do them, but for right now, I'm sticking with packages. So there's a 4-pack and it's discounted. So your drop-in rate is going to be the highest rate, just a single class. Then the 4-pack drops it down. And then there's a 10-pack and a 20-pack. And those are discounted more than the 4-pack.
And so that's per person, not like if a wedding party came in together.
So what I have people do is you can add guests to that. So if one person goes in and purchases like a 10-pack, they can add a guest name under there, and they could then do the class as well.
At no additional charge?
Well, it would let's just say a person buys a 10-pack.
And that equates a 10, that would be
10
sessions.
10 sessions.
So if they're doing 2 a week for optimization, that would be 5 weeks.
Right. But if like you had a 10-pack and she wanted to invite all her friends in, it would just eat up into her 10 sessions.
Understood.
Is that a 10-pack is a paid in full situation?
Everything's paid in full, and it can be done online through the system.
And what is your system? Is there? We go to their webpage. Do you Facebook? How do they get to you?
Well, on Instagram, I'm more of an Instagram user, even though it travels over to it's linked to my Facebook, and the link in the bio is for Instagram. They can just directly go on that. It's my personal Pilates for my Instagram page, and personal Pilates LLC for my Facebook. And so people can go on there and then go to the link, or it's personal-pilates.com for the website. That dash is in there, which could throw some people off too.
What kind of availability for schedule is there?
The schedule is all online too. So if this class schedule is online, and I have it open for 4 weeks, so people can book out for 4 weeks, and then every day it opens up the next class on that day. So that way my clients can come in and they can book out for the month, and they have it all set, and they don't have to worry about it. They can cancel. There is a 24-hour cancellation fee but they can cancel ahead of time, make sure they get their classes in. Classes are all online, and I do offer privates. The private are not blocked out. Those if people wanted a private session, and some people do. They're like, I'm not ready to do the class yet. I've really never done Pilates, or I haven't done it in years, or I have a knee replacement, hip replacement, whatever, and I want to see how I do. Then I'll do some half-hour sessions or half-hour privates, or even hour privates, and they call to schedule for those.
So that's more of an evaluation for you to learn them, and you can actually kind of carve out what's best for them, correct?
Yes, and if I know, they're like, well, I have a back problem, I'm like, okay, well, I will learn that. And so because I have 4 reformers, when I was in the larger studio that had 12, what I found was when I'm working with over 6 people, I can't pay attention to everybody like I would like to. I can give cues and can help them correct. I can maybe go to somebody and do a little bit of an adjustment. But when I found that doing smaller group sizes, that's why it's personal Pilates, I can really help each person. And I start to get to know, okay, you have that knee problem. I want you to do this. Okay, you have this back issue. I need you to really focus on this. Your shoulder, I'm dropping the tension down for you. This is your range of motion. So in the class, even though I'm flowing through with their directions, everybody might be modifying in some way, shape, or form based on what their needs are.
So your maximum group, if we were having a bridal party, want to work out together, you wouldn't do more than 4 at a time.
Well, you know, we were playing around with that, and I have a tower and I have straps, and I could do 8 people at a time. I haven't done it in my classes that I have because I'm keeping it more that. But what I'm working with is maybe opening up to more of a, let's do a larger group for those people that want that. And that way I can have half the people on the reformer and the other half doing some of the other things I have that's all, you know, Pilates based.
That's great. So like,
especially in our situation, if she has herself and 3 bridesmaids, but 2 moms want to come also, they can do something more modified.
Yep, absolutely.
love it. That's fantastic.
If somebody wants to do something and prepare, they're in their sessions, they're working with you, but they're getting married in Ocean City, and they're like, oh, it'd be great to do it the day before as a group on the beach. Is that something you offer?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't have that happening right now, except I'm very open. So if people, you know, I've gone to, you know, schools and taught for teachers. I've worked with people who were cancer survivors, you know, especially with breast cancer, when there's been mastectomies and there's lymphatic drainage issues. You know, I've worked with people like that. So I've done a lot of different things, and I would be open if a bride is like, hey, please come to and do a morning session on the beach. I would totally love that because I love to go to the beach too.
So part of the reason it's called personal Pilates is that you will personalize to fit their needs, whether it be physical or environmental. That's fantastic.
And people get their music too.
Ooh, everybody loves
So
their personal playlist.
they get to sing to their own music. Like it's fun.
It really changes the energy of how you approach it. So no,
it really does.
True.
And you know, music is so key to people. And it's, yes, I know that, but you know, I would have, you know, just something playing in the background because it didn't really, I was just like, whatever. And then all of a sudden I started doing like the Beatles station for people, and there's the Rolling Stone station, and there's the Motown station. And then all of a sudden people are like singing. And like the other day, it was so funny. Somebody's like, gosh, this is so nostalgic. I feel like I'm in high school again. And it's like that feeling, you know, that you get when you come here. Like, that's what I want people to have. I want them to have fun.
Yes.
I want them to be able to enjoy working out and really help their bodies, but also have that, you know, feel good when they walk out the door.
Yeah, I know. If I'm struggling and trying to do a plank,
And if there's a good song on it, I'm just like paying attention to the beat and rhythm of that instead of going, oh my gosh, I can't make it.
Exactly. Makes it doable.
Yes, exactly. I know when it comes to, especially something of the physical nature, do people have to have any special insurance? Do they sign waivers? How do you handle the legal side of things?
There's a waiver that's online. So nobody's allowed to do a class unless they sign a waiver.
Okay.
And I do have
They don't have to have a
insurance
doctor
too.
sign off. They don't have to have a physical before coming here. That kind of thing.
No, they have to sign off for that, and I do have insurance as well. But if somebody's coming for a private session or something, or if somebody comes in and, you know, it seems high risk for whatever reason, then I may, you know, talk to them about if they come into a class and I'm like, you know what, maybe you should try a private first and just dial this in so you know how, because I want people to know how their body should feel in the right proper form, because that's what Pilates is also about. It's really about that form. It's about, our posture, how we're carrying ourselves. So if we're used to feeling our posture in one way, when I correct people, they're like, I feel really weird right now. And that's because you were used to doing it a certain way, and now we're trying to change it. And so when they get that feeling of, okay, even though this feels weird, this is where I'm using my core, keeping my shoulders back or my neck relaxed, then once they get into that, then when they go into the class, I want them to know that. So it's like more of a practice of, how does my body feel when I'm doing these exercises the best way for my body, as opposed to a lot of times, and this is more of a mentality that people get in certain areas, where it's just go through the motions, don't matter what it looks like, but I really hammered it out and I did 20 of these or 50 of these. But if you did it in improper form, what's the use?
Because muscles get bad habits too.
Muscles get bad habits, postures get bad habits, and we could be loading the spine and the lower back, which over time, when you're younger, you don't feel this. But as you get older, especially as you get into the menopausal state, everything changes for women, for the lower estrogen, and our joints we are more likely to get tears. So even starting in our 40s, it will start with things like frozen shoulder, labral tears, plantar fasciitis, lower back issues. It starts then. And if we don't focus on that form to change it and to work on it and make us stronger, it will be that nagging thing that we carry with us for a while.
So you have tons of experience in the Pilates form, all the fitness area, but I know that you're also a nutritionist. Do you offer those services in conjunction with the Pilates?
Well, so just for legal terms, I do functional medicine coaching. I have my master's in integrative health, and it focused more on the food piece of it, but I don't want to be labeled as like a nutrition, like a registered dietitian or anything. I'm not that. I work online with the doctor. So the doctor has the program. And so all the people, she meets with them and they design kind of what they're going to do for their needs. And then I come in and work with them on how can we implement what you need to do for your nutrition to get the best out of it. Like what do your food pictures look like? What are you eating? How can we change that so you're getting enough protein, fiber, and all the good healthy fats and things like that. So I kind of work that. I haven't brought that into this realm yet, because I just, I've been teaching Pilates for a long time. I did this in my home for 5 years, and then I just brought it into here. So I'm taking one step at a time. People are like, oh, you should do your coaching piece, and I've thought about it, and I've thought about different ways of maybe doing like a class on a Saturday, and bringing in like a group class and seeing how that would go. But it's definitely in my mind. I'm open to people reaching out to me about it and seeing what they can do. But I haven't gone to that as advertising.
So you're working with the doctor on that portion of it.
Does that some insurance plans offer compensation for that type of thing? Do you know if that doctor has that availability?
Yes, you can.
I think there's like a care credit, or there's some kind of, don't quote me on that, but
every plan said,
everybody's,
but they do work with some insurance.
Yeah, some insurances where they can have things paid for, or maybe I don't know for sure, but I know people have the HSAs and the flexible spending accounts. I'm not, the people in the background who do take care of that.
So it's something people should look into.
Yeah, definitely.
If they're not aware of it.
Yes, because it's a different. It's like I love having both things because they're so important for like coming in and working out, and somebody's not focusing on what they're eating as far as looking at people getting married. It can be it is a very stressful time.
Oh yeah.
And so sometimes if people are self-soothing through food, then they could, get stressed out and like go for the bag of chips or go for the pizza or go for the cake. And that could sabotage them down the road. And I also look at Pilates like that. Pilates is that downtime of let's just chill. Let's just focus on what we're doing, make our bodies feel good, to take that stress level from up here and bring it down a notch.
So important.
It's really important.
And I know that it's not just a matter of how it shapes the body, but it affects the skin and your energy, everything.
And well,
It's all
also how
connected.
you're thinking.
Because if you're so stressed and you're not thinking clearly, like, what are you making the best decisions for what you're doing?
That's right. That's right.
And there's so many decisions to be made. People get overwhelmed.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Is there anything you would like to share that I hadn't asked?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I think we've covered everything, working more with the person individually. People see, the other thing I know, people send me these things all the time, is people falling off reformers.
Oh,
And
good.
so
Thank
some
you.
people, I think that kind of like scares them. I've heard people say, they were scared to come in here because they had seen so many things on Instagram or on Facebook, probably more Instagram. And of course, I have people sending me stuff, and I'm like, don't send me people falling in the well. And I have heard that in certain places where maybe the focus is different and how they do the class, it could be more of a fast moving class. So I have heard that people fall in the well because things are happening so quickly that they can't adapt. What I will say is, with this, I am with people all the time. I don't want people to be scared of Pilates because it is just like yoga. You can do more of like a restorative, relaxing yoga. You can do more of that restorative, relaxing Pilates, and then you can take it up to that level. But I really wouldn't take it to that level with people until I know that they're ready. So that way, when people come in here, you are not falling off of the reformer.
That is a very good thing to be aware of. Yes.
Yeah.
Fabulous. So, just to let everybody know, easy location to get to, plenty of parking. And we'll show you a little bit around the space. It's very comfortable here, and we're looking forward to getting everybody fit and happy for their big day.
Thank you for joining us. And to see more about this amazing vendor and their products or services, please visit our webpage, downtownbridalmd.com, and go to the Vendor Collective page.